A very good evening and thank you for joining us for the midweek edition of Primetime News. I'm Selima Shimwefeleni Masipa. The Office of the First Lady headlines tonight's bulletin. First Lady Monica Gengos highlighted the crucial role the Organization of African First Ladies plays in the fight against HIV/AIDS, noting the organization serves as a powerful advocacy platform in closing the gender gap in Africa. Gengos remarked this at the inaugural program of the Global First Ladies Academy, which was held recently in New York, United States of America. Let's listen in.
Speaking at the event, Gengos said the campaign will leverage the social capital of African First Ladies throughout the continent to spotlight the unfinished business of gender equality and the multiplier effect it will have on Africa's developmental trajectory. Gengos also called on the multiple research partners who attended the public sessions to help shape effective messages on the collective action required to close the gender gap across 4 campaign pillars, namely health, gender-based violence, education, and economic empowerment. The tools learned during the First Ladies Academy will enable the enhancements of advocacy tools to be used during Organizations of African First Ladies Against We Are Equal campaign. Reporting for Primetime News, Diana Kauta.
Moving on, Director of Committee Services in the National Assembly, Kathleen Joyce Nakuta, noted it is imperative that members of Parliament understand their roles in parliamentary standing committees. This, she reckoned, will ensure decisions that benefit Namibians are implemented. More from this report.
Nakuta was speaking to the media on the sidelines of a workshop on the validation of rules for the establishment, functioning and procedures of committees of the National Assembly in Swakopmund on Tuesday.
So there's a vacuum in our current rules in terms of who should decide on how committees should be composed. So there are discussions at the moment as to do we use the standing rules that prescribe who are the members of the standing rules and orders, which at this point, after the new parliament coming to play, are not fully composed because the chairpersons of committees are not established yet, or do we establish a steering committee, that can manage that process? So members are at the moment debating that issue to make sure that we do not have the same challenges we had starting the 7th Parliament, where we took a long time to establish setting up parliamentary standing committees because the consensus will just not be amongst members as to how a committee should be established. So these are some of the issues that we are discussing at the moment.
Deputy Minister of Industrialization and Trade, Verna Sinimbo, on Tuesday officially launched the National Barcode System. The first 3 digits of the barcode, the 631 prefix, will be used to identify Namibian products.
According to Sinimbo, the introduction of the GS1 or National Barcode System is a reflection of the nation's progress and represents its people's determination to leave their mark on the world stage. She claimed that Namibia has been using the South African barcode for many years, depriving Namibia of its own distinctive identity. During that time, Namibia organized items were marketed internationally as South African. She continued by saying that this launch reflects the significant and positive progress the nation has made since gaining independence. It demonstrates the country's enduring economic strength, illustrating its development from a young nation to a significant player in world trade. According to Sinimbo, the GS1 is an acknowledgement of every Namibian manufacturer, entrepreneur and innovator who has dared to dream big, dared to break boundaries and advance the country on the international stage. Reporting for Primetime News, Diana Kauta.
Turning our focus to the Zambezi region. The nationwide awareness campaign on the Namibia Livestock Identification and Traceability System and stock brands commenced on Monday. The campaign, a joint collaborative initiative by the Meat Board of Namibia and the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform, aims to inform and encourage farms on the proper use of cattle ear tags and stock branding. More insights from this report.
Thank you very much. We find ourselves here today in the Zambezi region to launch a campaign to clean up system, which is a traceability system, a system which assists us to access markets across the globe. The system is, we are looking at the issue of the stock brand, the NAMLITs, the ear tags, and bringing awareness to our farmers so that they are in part of what are the new developments, what it's them have to do so that they can market their animals, and this meat or beef will then marketed across the globe.
We are thankful that we are visited by the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform, especially the Directorate of Veterinary Services, NAMLIT and Meat Board. For Zambezi region, we say thank you so much for the information which is brought to us and also the assistance that we are going to receive from the services of the Directorate of Veterinary Services. As we know, Zambezi region is prone to FMD in many occasions.
Stay tuned for the business segment. Welcome to the Primetime Biz Slot, your go-to segment for all things business and economics and development to the fore. Communications Regulatory Authority of Namibia, CRAN, announced it will lift the standstill period for applications of broadcasting and telecommunications services licenses on the 1st of October this year.
CRAN on 1st October 2022 imposed a standstill period on the consideration of applications for broadcasting and telecommunications services licenses to enable it to collect data from the market to assess whether the markets are saturated. CRAN's Executive for Communications and Consumer Relations, Katrina Sikena, in a media statement on Tuesday said, after various stakeholder consultations in 2021, CRAN was implored to conduct a market study for the telecommunications and broadcasting sectors to determine the current market level of competition, market saturation, and any existing barriers to entry. The study, Sikena noted, was conducted based on a fixed data set, particularly the number of telecommunications and broadcasting service licenses currently in the market, and hence the standstill period. She further stated that it is paramount that CRAN continuously studies market dynamics to align the regulatory framework to best practices and emerging trends in the regulations to ensure fair competition and facilitate investments into the sector.
The city of Windhoek on Tuesday announced it will undertake an exercise next week to update the token identifier on electricity prepaid meters in some parts of the city.
According to a media statement by the city on Tuesday, the exercise will start on 24 July until 15 September this year, noting that the current prepaid electricity metering standard transfer specification 5 token identifier will expire on 24 November 2023 for all meters. In the event where no access is granted to the premises or when the client is not available at the premises, a notice will be left at the premises with the contact details for the customers to contact the City of Windhoek within 48 hours. Failure to do so will lead to the blocking of the prepaid meters, which will only be unblocked after the customer has contacted the city, the statement said.
That wraps up your top segment for tonight. Up next is the Econ Roundup, followed by the weather forecast. Welcome to Sport Planet, your go-to segment for all things action. Refereeing or officiating plays an integral part as a form of adjudicating between competing individuals or teams in any sport discipline. It is against this background that FIFA-accredited referee Vistoria Shangula encourages females to start refereeing, noting all it takes is physical and emotional fitness. Let's listen into a portion of her interview.
Namibia, we actually don't have any challenge for a person to become a referee. We are just, in total, we are just 13. Other countries, they are having 20, 17, but Namibia, we are very less, which is, we are only 5 women, 2 middle referees, and then 3 assistants. To us, when it's come to us, it's like we don't have any challenge. We are too relaxed because we know there's no next person. So we actually looking for someone to come in and challenge. Then we see, okay, this is not the time to be relaxed, because what if I fail and then the next person take my place? Because now all the people from our federation, they are also too relaxed. There is only 2 people which is they are looking up to. So for me to become a referee, there is no challenge. All you need, just train hard, be fit. That's all they are coming to look for when FIFA come here to make for us a fitness test.
Turning our attention to women's football, New Zealand is set to host its biggest ever sporting event when the country's national women's football team take on Norway in the opening match of the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup at Auckland's Eden Park on Thursday. Thursday's opening game marks the beginning of the month-long tournament co-hosted by New Zealand and Australia. The FIFA Women's World Cup is the largest women's sporting event on the planet, and this year's event will be the biggest yet, with 32 teams taking part.
My only message that I want to get out here is seize the moment. Seize the moment. Be proud. Be proud of what you have been able to achieve here in New Zealand, in Australia, of course. Be proud of what will be the biggest event, not just sports event, but event generally, certainly sports event, certainly football event so far, that has been organized here.
Your sports roundup is up next. That wraps up our midweek edition of Primetime News. As always, many thanks for being a part of our broadcast. We truly value your viewership, and it's been a pleasure having you in our company. From myself, Selima Shumwefeleni Masipa, and the entire production crew behind the scenes, have a restful evening. Good night.